We're thinking about reworking some of the drainages around the property as well, just to kind of work with the water a little bit. You should probably be on the uphill side.
When I take a step, it's like, whoop, there I am, there I'm not, there I am.
Just trying to rework some of the drainages. When we first moved here, we weren't 100% sure where the water was flowing. We knew it was, the driveway was really washed out. We could tell it was, obviously flowing downhill, but.
Well, and there also was about a foot deep drainage ditch running right down the middle of the driveway that had just been eroded over time.
We put in a couple of culverts and drainages when we moved in, just so we could put a driveway back in and have somewhat of a driveway. I think we're gonna probably rework it this coming year. Maybe dig out those drainages and move them differently. I'll kind of show you what we're talking about. So since we originally put the road in, we put a little access area up to the pole barn here. The pole barn obviously wasn't here at that time. So we're thinking about maybe taking this tree out right back here, putting in the culvert underneath that and kind of draining down this edge of the driveway.
Yeah, so there's another culvert that goes underneath that access to the pole barn right there. And then we have two that come underneath the driveway and they push all the water kind of down the hill and off towards the creek. However, that leaves the yard really flooded. So what we've decided to do, since the majority of the water comes off this hillside and it wants to run down and meet the big drainage ditch that runs down along there and then down through the property, what we're gonna do, instead of sending any of the water straight down to the creek here, is we're gonna go ahead and catch everything coming off the hillside. We're going to remove those two culverts that are under the driveway there, and we're just gonna filter everything straight down past the pump house all the way down and hit that ditch down there, and then that goes down and funnels straight to the creek.
Poor Sala is getting so old. She's eating food like a healthy dog, but she's just starting to look so bony and scrawny. We started giving her some wet dog food as well, just to
make sure she's getting enough to eat, and in case she's having any problems with chewing.
Yeah.
I don't think she is, because she's going through her other dog food, but
she's just getting really old.
She is really old, and she might just be also where she might kind of pack on a few more pounds in the summer. Right now it's still cold outside. She has an insulated dog house and everything, but we're just barely coming out of the cold season, so it might have some effect, but she's still getting around, as you can see. She's doing okay.
She's usually good for about a half an hour running around, and then she's pretty hobbled up and needs to go lay back down.
Yeah, sometimes she pushes herself too far. We were working kind of down by the creek and she was following us up and down the hill, up and down the hill. And she did that probably, 15 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, she does okay. She gets around okay. We've noticed she's getting a little skinny, so we're ramping up her diet and trying to give her more, like fat cutoffs from when I'm making, meat of some sort or whatever, and she's getting canned dog food. So, and then she has free choice hard dog food throughout the day. So just making sure she's all taken care of, and we don't want her to be suffering in any way, and I don't think she is. She's just getting old and
getting old and bony.
Yeah.
No, we sure have enjoyed having her. She's been a really good dog for us.
She has been a fantastic dog, so we're just making sure to take good care of her as she's getting older.
Sala, are you a vicious pit bull? Sala. Hey, deaf dog.
She's going deaf.
Hey, deaf dog. Are you a vicious pit bull? You a vicious pit bull? Got all the kitties and the doggy. And we were kind of just guessing based off of water flow and erosion when we got here, where the majority of it was coming from. And we catch the majority of it, but there's still down around the cabin in the parking area where we're at, there's still a lot of water that kind of pools and settles right there. So our goal is to continue down with the drain and then do a French drain that kind of runs underneath everything and then dumps into that ditch that runs right along through there.
One more thing is that over the last 4.5 years of living here, we've learned where a lot of like springs and seeps pop up.
Yeah.
And there's numerous ones that pop up kind of along our driveway on the way down to where that drainage ditch is. So even if we caught all the water, the surface water that's literally coming down off the hill, we also need to kind of catch those different seeps and stuff. And so by kind of redirecting the water down this way, we can catch all the water that's just literally bubbling up from underneath the ground and these little springs that pop up in the wintertime. And we can shoot that all down to the drainage ditch and then down to the creek to kind of help with erosion in the places that we obviously don't want eroded.
I think Sala wandered off again.
Maybe she went to go see the neighbor's goats.
Could be.
She's pretty indifferent to them. I took her down to visit them and meet them, and she kind of looked at them and then was like, yeah, okay, that's nice, let's go for a walk. And so that was the extent of the amount of attention she paid to them. So she really could care less about them.
We would call her, but she is stone deaf. She wouldn't hear us anyways.
Yeah, she doesn't go far. She stays
not
right
anymore.
around the property lines. She doesn't wander off. So she's around here somewhere.
Probably just right behind the pole barn.
Hello and good morning, almost afternoon. I have today off. I do not have to work at my other job, my real job. I do not have to run any errands into town. And so I spent the morning cleaning the house, all of the fun things that get neglected when I go outside. So I decided to do those first. And then today we are going to be working on the window greenhouse again. So the window greenhouse is an ongoing big project. There's a lot of finish work that needs to be done. And so that is what I am working on. And I am eating that elephant one bite at a time. So basically just any little bit of time I have to run out. Like yesterday after work, I ran out and worked on doing some of the caulking around all of the trim in there, all of the windows, for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. I scrubbed down the last 2 windows on the inside. So I am also eating the frog because I'm eating the elephant and I'm eating the frog. So I'm eating the frog. If you've never read that book, basically what I'm doing is, this is a project that I don't feel like doing. I have done so much caulking and painting in my life because every house, this is our 3rd house since we've been married. Every single house that we have bought has been a remodel, some worse than others, but there's been a lot of caulking and painting in my life, and I don't mind it, but I don't really enjoy it. After hours and hours, I start to get pretty tired of it. So it's a project that I have to prioritize because otherwise I won't do it, and it really needs to be done. I'm really excited to see the window greenhouse finished. So I am just working on it in little chunks as much as I can, although today I have a good amount of time that I can spend working on the window greenhouse. So it's about noon, and I'm going to head out and start working on caulking. All right, so I am equipped with all of my fancy garb. This is a shirt that it's actually a men's dress shirt somebody gave Robert, and he was like, that's a little too exciting for me with the gold stripes. And so I actually stole it because it's a really light color and it works great in the summertime when I am weed eating. I can kind of like button it all the way up, and then I usually wear a mask because we have a lot of poison oak on the property, so this has saved my bacon. And then I also like it because when it's really hot outside and I'm working in the sun, especially right now coming out of winter, I don't have much, there's not much sun-kissed skin going on just yet, and I don't want to burn. So I like it because it's long sleeves, so I can roll my sleeves all the way down and kind of slowly acclimate to the sun. So anyway, so I've got that, I've got my sunglasses, I've got my hair protection so I don't get caulking and paint and bugs in my hair, and I am all ready and set to go. Let's do this.
I wanna jump around when I think about yesterday. Your smile, your style so fly. My, oh my, stood still, I got the urge to steal a kiss, and so I did. Now I'm embarrassed, but just a little bit. Oh, there must be gold on those lips and honey on those fingertips. Can you imagine us two out in the woods in a big old house? We'd pass our days on clouds floating around. Oh, since I met you, I feel unbreakable. Oh, I can take it all. Wish me good luck, give me the courage to ask for more. Oh, there must be gold on those lips and honey on those fingertips. Oh, we could be birds discovering the world, the best ones they've ever heard about.
So I am going to be working on the top part of the window greenhouse. Those plexiglass areas, or those areas that we put plexiglass in, those have shrunk down a lot because, not the plexiglass, but the openings themselves, because the wood was really wet when we built this in the middle of winter because it kept raining. And anyway, so they've shrunk a lot, and now we've got some opening. I am cutting down from some leftover cedar from when we redid the siding on the cabin, and I'm going to use those for shims and kind of shim that into place again so that I can caulk around it and fill up those really large air gaps.
I used to fall apart, lose myself and give my heart away. Come and go in shady places. I used to sit and stare. Now the light runs through my lashes. Oh, it's taken 40 years, blood, sweat and tears. You are the love. I can't show you how to start to find your way. I like the old-fashioned way. Give me that sweet love, those warm-up kisses. Oh, well, you are the love. Life has a quirky way. Circle breaks, we find a new day.
I really like to use these microfiber rags, and what I do is, because this is a fast drying caulk, I usually will make sure that these are pretty wet, and then once I kind of have it like really used up, I will throw it in a bucket of water, and that kind of just keeps the caulk from drying in there, and then they rinse out really easily, and this keeps me from having to go through rolls and rolls of paper towel, which for obvious reasons I don't want to do. And then these don't go to waste, so I just wash them out. The bucket of water, I throw a little bit of Dawn dish soap in there to kind of help break things up, and this works really well. And as you can see, I also use this for smoothing. So when I have an area that's like a wider gap, if I stick my small finger in there, it's really hard to get a nice, really nice looking seam. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll bunch this up like this, and then I'll run it across that gap, and it kind of just gives it a nice flat surface, or it's almost like using like a big fat thumb or something, and it just gives it a much like cleaner line that I can sometimes get with my thumb or fingers. And I know you can use like different types of like scrapers or tools. I've tried that and they don't work as well for me as this does. I just prefer using this. So yeah, a little tip for you. anyway, I'm gonna call it a day out here. I have been working on this for about 4 hours. It's incredibly warm in the greenhouse, especially standing on a ladder up at the top. I'm pretty hot, and my back is tired. My legs are tired from standing on the ladder. So I'm gonna call it. And yeah, I'm happy about the amount of progress that I got done today. So thank you for following along, and you guys have a great day.
Days without water along the sun-soaked road. We crossed over borders to get where we are, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. Nights without sleeping 'cause you fear the night, and days without eating 'cause it ain't enough for two, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you.